right. You always got to wait for it with Steve. He draws it in slowly. Engineer Steve, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you guys hanging out for In the Stash live with Michelle Paul as well. San Diego-divorcelaw.com. Michelle, we did the damn thing today, okay? We went through just about everything you could possibly go through in this conversation. We left one hanging chat out intentionally, and I think this is probably the key of what separates you maybe from anybody else who sits inside in this conversation. And that's you approach it from the concept of a team. Now, for someone who's not familiar with why that would be important, or if there's even teams or individuals in this conversation prevailingly, why is that your choice, and why do you believe that is the correct way to approach this conversation?
I would say the team concept is the only way to go. I mean, granted, there might be people that say, just give me the advice and I'll take it from here. But from our experience, the most successful outcomes happen when the team stays together and the team has a plan and they follow through.
Now, say more about that, though, because, now what does that mean when you say the team? First of all, who is the team?
Oh, yeah, we're the team. Yeah, you know what? I'd like to say this, too. It's just relentless. It's a relentless process. And just because, the office doors are closed physically, the team still is in motion and figuring out the process and what has to be next. And so the team is, the client, and the team is us. And the team also is the support system of the client. I mean,
which looks like what?
It's okay. So if you have just a given situation, you've got the client who's got family backing them, like maybe they got their parents backing them, or best friends. And I'm talking about really good support system. And then with us, I mean, we've got our incredible paralegals in the office, and we do what we do. I can give you just a great example of how the team works. Is one of the more successful cases that we've got going right now works because the client listens to the advice, he makes an informed decision because he's listened to what I have to say, and he's like, okay, that makes sense for me. I can tell you along the way in this particular case, he became a nice guy. And he said, well, I know we have this stipulation in place, and I know I'm always supposed to allow the other spouse some type of visitation, but I'm feeling like, I don't want to be, it's like she's being nice and all that. As soon as he went outside of the business model, if you will, the team model.
Yeah, it makes sense.
The other spouse took advantage, wanted more time, and not only that, started getting on Facebook, posting nasty, nasty things about the case. And it's like, so I had to call him up and give him the tough love and say, okay, let's go back to basics, and let's go back to what we want to accomplish at the end of the day and what we said we were going to do. And if we get back to that, so it's happened the last month. He's got off course a couple times, but he's smart enough to listen to me get back on track because his emotions did take over, and he got back on board with the team concept, and it works. It works when you apply it. It just works. Yeah,
because it's like, are you coachable? Because this only works if I can coach a winning team.
Yes.
Right? That's a concept that's actually near and dear to our practice as well. So what's interesting about that, though, is would you not say that a lot of, lawyers' approach in any domain is tell me what you want, tell me as much information from the story as possible, and then I gotcha. Like, okay, then I'll instruct you basically on how this is going to go, right? And one of the things that I kind of picked up from our conversations and from kind of looking in on your website and kind of getting your philosophy is that you do more of like a consultative approach where you give people information that's based around their options. It's kind of more like a huddle up, is it not?
Yes, absolutely.
So explain why that's the concept that you think works best.
Because it doesn't leave them out of the loop. Because, these people at the end of the day, if they're going to follow the advice, it's got to mean something to them. For them to execute the plan, it's got to come from inside. It can't be just external. And if I'm going to be doing all the work at the end of the day, that's one thing. But at the end of the day, I tell them, look, this is your life. This is your restraining order. This is your divorce. This is your child custody. The more, I find that when we're less successful than we want to be, basically that's just a nice way of saying we're getting our butt kicked. But when we're getting our butt kicked, let's just put it that way, it's because the other side, I can see it. I can tell the other client for the opposing side is feeding the attorney or the law firm the information they need to get the litigation done and be successful. And I'm constantly, if I'm losing for my client, it's because I'm trying to drag the information out of them and say, look, we need this information to go forward, and we need to go into court with this information. Yeah. You waited too long. Now I got to ask for an extra motion or ask for, an order shortening time, because now, we're beyond the discovery limits or, the cutoffs. So team effort is everything. It really is.
Team effort, gang. That's why we got Michelle Paul, law office of Michelle Paul, in the house. You can catch her out at San Diego-divorcelaw.com. Call her anytime at 619-379-9828, or you can catch this rebroadcast and all the other shows we've ever done at secretstashradio.com. Michelle Paul, the goal of today was, Stash Nation, leave him a little better than how we found him, was to figure out how to take control of the process before it ever went to the courts. What's one final thought you want to leave us with?
I'll give you some advice my dad gave me when I went through my first divorce. Hopefully my only divorce.
Yeah.
He said, what are you waiting for? He says, you're going to look back on your life and 10 years have gone by, and what are you going to do then if you're still in the same situation? Just make the decision.
Yeah, stuck energy, right?
Yeah.
It's like when it's time to then put some action behind it and make some moves.
Right.
If you are in that situation, gang, you might want to reach out to Michelle Paul. And again, that's San Diego-divorcelaw.com. Michelle, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Leaving us a little better than how you found us. Gang, thank you for hanging out as well. And we're going to be right back, and you're not going to want to miss the next hour. Have you ever heard of a little company called Airbnb? Yeah, probably have. Well, something just happened recently that I think you're going to want to hear about, and it's not the old lady over in North Park, gang. We'll be right back with some more Stash Nation, Real Talk Radio San Diego coming up.